Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Ride Option Podcast. Oh my goodness, we are back from the bye week. You have done it. You've waited all day for Friday night, the newest Sprint Ride Option, a podcast, part
That's
of
one.
the Blue Wire Hustle Network. I am Andrew Pasquini. That is Jason Aponte to my right. And how was your bye week? How was your bye week? Your off week?
Man, you know what's funny is about watching football and you know that your team's not playing this week and you can just root against division rivals and just enjoy your fantasy team. It's kind of liberating a little bit, but at the same time, it just didn't feel as important, you know, and it just felt like almost like I was slacking. I didn't really do any work. I watched a ton of football, but at the same time, it just doesn't hit the same because the 49ers aren't playing.
Yeah, I feel that because hand up, I haven't thought about the Niners since the last time we did this podcast together.
Jesse, do not encourage him. Do not encourage him.
Jesse, encourage my love for Carrie Underwood opening Sunday Night Football.
For the audio listeners, though, the comment that's on the screen is Jesse Rodriguez, who, you know, friend of the podcast, big guy, you know, big shout out to him. Waited all day for a sprint right option. No, don't encourage Andrew, please.
Encourage it. Yeah, no. So I haven't thought about the Niners since the last time we did this podcast, which was the Cardinals, you know, review the game. We talked about it. I didn't watch a lot of football. I was actually more excited about the baseball going on because, you know, I am more than just a Giants fan. We don't need to talk about Game 5. It's in the past. It's a week old. Hello, Leo. Our beautiful faces. Hey, you know.
But 2 ads, that's not so bad, Leo.
What's the DJ Khaled album? The Crying Over Success or whatever.
Right. So Suffering from Success. And also, Leo, if you were a supporter, you would have clicked those ads and also helped with the revenue as well.
We're starting off hot. We've had a week off. We're feeling good, Jason Aponte. But yeah, so anyways, I take my week off from watching the Niners. And I'm like, man, I'm excited for this podcast. Let's see what I've missed this week. And oh my God, I've missed a lot. Do we want to start with the Forrest Buckner? Do we want to start with the injury report? What do we want to start with today, Jason?
Whatever you want, Andrew. I'm with you. My temperature is a little bit different. I know that everybody enjoyed, spicy Aponte, which didn't trend because I knew it wouldn't. And it makes no sense for that to trend. But at the same time, that's not my temperature right now. There's so much going on with this team. I'm not upset anymore. It's just we got to just talk about it. So let's just talk about it.
Yeah, and just totally unrelated. People, you know, that was the most downloaded episode we've had on the audio stream. Spicy Aponte helps. But anyways, I'll start with the injury report because it plays into the preview of the Colts game, which is why we're here. We'll talk about the DeForest Buckner stuff later. The 49ers injury report is out, and boy, oh boy, it does not look good. Maurice Hurst is out. Javon Kinlaw is out. Trey Lance is out. We've known that for a couple days. And Trent Williams is doubtful. It doesn't sound like he's going to play. Marcel Harris also pops up. He's questionable. And it's you know, we're going into this week against the Colts. The Colts, 2 things they're pretty good at is offensive line. And Quentin Nelson is coming back, so that doesn't help anything.
Dope.
And then you talk about Jonathan Taylor, one of the better running backs in the NFL, and the Niners don't have their anchor for the run defense in Javon Kinlaw. That's something I've enjoyed with him. That's probably his best trait. And we saw it a little bit against the Lions in week 1 when he didn't play, how big those run lanes were. Whether or not that had to do with it being Kinlaw not there, whatever it may be, we'll find out. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good going against a team getting their best offensive lineman back with a very good running back and having 2 of your better defensive tackles out for the game on Sunday. So that's the big news. Obviously, there's the quarterback situation as well. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to start. We'll talk about that in a minute. The 2 big injuries, though, here I think we should circle Trent Williams and Javon Kinlaw. We'll start with the defense since that's what I touched on first. Jason, what are your thoughts with that? With Jonathan Taylor coming into town, Quentin Nelson back. What's your thoughts?
Well, I didn't know that this podcast was going to turn into a weather podcast, but the weather that is going to be there for Sunday Night Football is not conducive to passing the football. Okay. And this is going to be a game that is going to be one in the trenches and is going to be one on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That is not good that Javon Kinlaw is not going to be there. And it's not going to be good that Quentin Nelson is back, okay? It's not doom and gloom, but all of these things need to be discussed, okay?
Yeah.
The weather is, for some reason, apparently, maybe I've had it in my mind because I live on the East Coast and it rains like every 30 seconds over here. Apparently, I had it in my mind that it never rains in California unless there is a natural disaster. Now it has been 3 straight days in that area, the Bay Area, of just straight downpour. Oh wait, I am wearing Niners gear, Leo.
Yeah,
What are you
he's
talking
wearing
about?
Niners gear.
What are you talking about, Leo?
Yeah, well, as you can tell, I have a beanie on. It's raining in Sacramento. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, and what is this one? It is in the 60s. I do not live in California for 60 degrees. I'm 70 up, so it's cold. I'm a wimp.
He said it's cold. He said
It's
it's cold. And
I'm wearing sweats. I got long sleeves, got the beanie on. I'm feeling good, man. I'm cozy.
But here's the problem, right? So all of these things are not conducive to, the thing that the 49ers wanted to do and the things that, you kind of want to see was the passing game get back in the groove. And the weather is not conducive of this. And it's so funny because on my Instagram stories, my memories popped up from 2 years ago that I was actually at a game that the 49ers played in that was a torrential downpour in Washington, D.C. And now that game ended 9-6 with a much worse team, which was the Washington football team. They were named something different at that point. But
I call it the Robbie Gould game.
Yeah, great for him. That's the type of game you might want to expect at this point. And here's the thing: the stadium's not built to take all that rain. That's not something that is in the forecast all the time. And
I'm trying to think. Is this the first rain game at Levi's? If it does rain, because I'm trying to think, and I don't know.
I think there are some others, but I think that you're pushing it out of your mind because it was during a time where the 49ers weren't great. So I'm sure that if we looked it up, and I'm sure that someone in the comments will pull it up, and but at the same time, all of these things, the elements, who's coming back, who's missing, they're all conducive right now to the Colts running the ball very well in this game, and that's not good. So I mean, I know we'll talk about other things, but I wanted to make sure that we pointed that out because no analysis would be complete without talking about everything that's going to be happening in terms of the elements and in terms of what's going to be happening with the context of the players who are coming back.
Pro Football Talk just tweeted JaMychal Hasty is expected to return to action on
he's
Sundays.
off the IR. Yes. And so Trey Sermon, you're not going to play at all.
Probably, hey.
No, probably not. He's not playing at all.
Why would you use the running back you traded up in the second round to get when you could just trade for Marlon Mack? Marlon Mack's already in town.
Listen.
Don't let the Colts take him.
Walk over from one side to the other. I mean, why would you play the guy that you traded up for? That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I think they should trade for Marlon Mack at halftime. I think that's
perfect.
I don't think he would be able to play for the Niners in the second half, but you know how cool it would be? Like just for a halftime show of Marlon Mack like walking across the field.
Or just get him a Niner sweater and just have him go stand on the sideline and just say, hey, he's on the team.
Hey, we have him, Marlon Mack. God, that got spicy really quick. Oh my God.
Yeah. And
we went off base. The other side of it, you're talking about the trenches in the rain. What's not going to help is Trent Williams. Also sound like he's going to be out. We'll see what that means because I mean, if this would be a nice game to have Trey Lance for, he's out as well. A lot of injuries going on right now.
So Jesse Rodriguez again. Sermon should play if it's raining. He's the bigger back. Yes, he should. He certainly should.
I just think the first 3 words of the comment is all he needed. Is Sermon should play. But yeah, so with Trent Williams, Jalen Moore is going to step in likely. I believe he's the backup left tackle. That's what they've been running with. Yeah, it's something we'll see what happens because the offensive line wasn't great last week or 2 weeks ago against Arizona. And I'm going to maybe chalk some of it up. They're not used to a quarterback moving around like Trey Lance
They
did.
aren't.
We're back to normal with Jimmy Garoppolo. He sounds 100% healthy. He didn't even show up on the injury list. So we'll see if that means the offensive line kind of normalizes with Garoppolo back there. It's gonna be tough with Trent Williams. Like a lot of these injuries that we're listing is they're almost game-changing injuries because of how important those positions are, right?
Yes, and look, someone asked me. I was on Grant's show this week, as I usually am, and he said, "Hey, how do you get the running game going again?" Well, hey, maybe run behind the best left tackle in football. Give that a shot.
Yeah, that's right.
And now that's not gonna happen. And this is a really good point, Jesse. And I hope this isn't true. Jesse's on fire so far on this episode. Watch the 49ers start Tom Compton at left tackle. I don't want to get upset. I'm just trying to be happy.
We're having
here.
fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun. Yeah. I miss Andrew. I just really want this to be a lighthearted episode with analysis, no yelling, no
yelling.
Top stuff.
We're not gonna get angry.
That stuff. But yeah, a thought is maybe run behind the highest paid left tackle, the best left tackle in football. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen. But can you name another team that actually has injuries get worse coming off a bye week?
No.
You literally didn't play. You literally didn't play last week. Guys were sitting in their house on a barbecue. There's a nice Simpsons reference about it. There's where there's a harrowing bye week, which no one enjoys, and it's literally a bunch of players, and they're just like at a barbecue. How did this team somehow get more injured off of a bye week? I just don't know. And with Trent Williams, there's never a game, especially a game that we're talking about right now, where running the ball is going to be paramount. There's never a game that you're really happy to lose Trent Williams in any capacity. So, yeah. All right. I'm not gonna get upset. Let's just keep talking.
Not gonna get upset. We're gonna talk through it.
Keep talking. Yeah.
Can I make this game more important than it needs to be? Because that's something I really like doing.
It is. It's as close to a must-win as there is in Week 6.
I'll go as far to say I am staking my playoff thoughts for this team on this game. Because the 49ers, my thoughts on if this team is a playoff team on this game, because if we want to say the San Francisco 49ers are a playoff team, they should have no problem with a team like the Indianapolis Colts. And that's nothing against the Colts. They've not been great. They haven't been great. And I know they're kind of not as close to what the Niners are. But they've had some injuries and they're probably going to be better. I think the Niners need to beat this Colts team for me to be convinced, because I just don't think the Colts are great.
The problem is you're right, and then there's another thing where the team is at right now, right? Because I literally watched the Colts all 22 against the Houston Texans, watched it 2 times, but there's very little that you can take from that game because that is such a roster-barren team.
Yeah.
They have a rookie, super rookie, like not somebody who was highly regarded rookie as their quarterback.
Yeah.
And there was really nothing that I could really take away from that game that I could say, okay, this is what they did successfully. The Texans are just a bad team. Let's just put it out there. But the Colts are playing better football right now than the 49ers are. Even if they lost that game to the Ravens, they did. But it was because they're secondary and because Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind. And this is a guy who was the unanimous MVP. I would go as far to say that he's playing better football right now than he ever has in his career at any point. And that's something that's kind of fair at this point. But the problem is that I think that there are 2 teams that are meeting right now that are in 2 different spaces in terms of where they're at right now. Okay. Like you could easily say what you said and be right about that. Right. Obviously the 49ers as a roster are better than the Colts, but right now the space that they're in, what they do well, they're the number 1 rush defense in the league. They literally limit people to under 4 yards of carry. They have allowed 1 rush touchdown this season, and they are very good at doing the things to stop what the 49ers want to do. Outside zone. All those, they have Darius Leonard, who is in that same tier as Fred Warner. DeForest Buckner revenge game, the only narrative that actually matters in the world. You just watched it. Case Keenum, literally on Thursday, perpetuated my narrative. Revenge game over everything. And we'll get to the DeForest Buckner stuff, but
I guess you could say DeForest Buckner's waited 2 years for Sunday night.
God, it's 2, man. I can't believe I just got rickrolled into that one too. But the point is this game is going to be ugly. It is going to be gross, and not because of the weather. It's just the even if this game was played in the most perfect conditions in Honolulu, Hawaii, I would not feel as confident as you would have 2-3 weeks ago when the Colts were struggling. This feels like a team. Carson Wentz is low-key playing very good football right now. Yeah. Very good football. Very close to the person that he was in Philly.
Yeah.
T.Y. Hilton might not play in this game, but at the same time, it just feels like these teams are meeting at the wrong time, because you could have that same opinion of, hey, they should roll them. But at the same time, they are in 2 different spaces right now. And with everything that we're going to talk about right now around this 49ers team, this does not feel like something that is functional or is moving in the right direction at this point.
Yeah.
They have a chance to change the narrative around that by winning this game. But at the same time, all that stuff applies.
See, who would have thought Jason would be the one calming me down today?
Yes.
I think I overreacted. Jason talked me down. Luke Luna makes a good point. This is an Eric Armstead revenge game in a sense too, because they picked Armstead's contract. I'm agree with that. I like the narrative.
I like it.
I want extra reasons to be amped up about this game. I don't want to talk about
too many Lunas in this
room.
Too
much Luna in this room. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The Colts definitely and I think a lot of their bad record too is their schedule. Their schedule's been very tough versus Seattle, versus the Rams, at Tennessee, at the Dolphins, at the Ravens, and the Texans, which whatever. They've played 4 really good teams. They're 2-6. And that's our 2-6, 2-4. That's Niners 2-3. But yeah, you're absolutely right that they're playing at the wrong time. I think that's the best way to put it. I'm not so concerned about Wentz anymore, because D'Amico Ryans has shown that they can handle quarterbacks who can move a little bit. So I'm not too worried about him as much. And I've always been lower on Carson Wentz too. If you go back to our Philadelphia episode last year, probably said the same things. I'm not too high on Carson Wentz, so we'll see where that goes. I guess we'll dive into the DeForest Buckner stuff a little bit. Obviously, how far back do we need to go? Do we need to talk about the trade? No, I'm joking. Obviously, what happened. This is the first time the Niners will see Buckner since the trade. Obviously, the trade hasn't gone as well as fans had hoped. They used the pick on Javon Kinlaw, who's been fine. However, he's been hurt a lot. They used the money they saved on the trade to extend Kittle, which he's been good, just hurt a lot. Obviously, this is going to be the big thing going into this game. It's not even just, maybe not on a national standpoint. I'm sure they'll touch on it, as the national broadcasts do. They'll talk about his time in San Francisco. It just makes this game feel unnecessarily important from the 49ers standpoint, because you know if like the second DeForest Buckner sacks Jimmy Garoppolo, if that does happen.
Oh, it will.
Like the tweets are going to come out like, oh, the guy the Niners should have kept sacked the guy the Niners should have gotten rid of, and things like that. And we're going to it's just going to be one of those unfortunate games where the Niners win like 31-10 and DeForest Buckner has 2 sacks. People are going to talk about, at least on 49ers Twitter, they're going to talk about those sacks. There will be a Twitter space with the name Buckner should have never been traded. Things like that. I don't know why I've been going after Twitter space. I need to stop. Nice. It's just, it makes this game unnecessarily important. And to me, I'm not concerned. We'll talk about the quotes here in a minute. Just Buckner coming into it, I'm not too concerned about the narrative of it. I don't think I ever have been. So maybe that's part of it as well. But I can see why Buckner would be a little pissed off coming into this game.
All right. Rant time.
No.
Here we go.
No.
Here we go. Do you want to know the problem with the DeForest Buckner thing? It's not John Lynch. It's not Kyle Shanahan. It's not the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a name that 49er fans unnecessarily praise, and now it's time to take him to task. I'm ready. You ready?
Okay.
Parag Marathe.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
You heard what I said. So, 49er fans laud Parag Marathe as a cap wizard. Newsflash, guys. Newsflash, guys. There are 30 other Parag Marathes in this league. Guess what? Every single team has them. Do you know why DeForest Buckner's not here? Because Parag Marathe has too much control, too big of an influence on the way that this team structures their contract. Let me explain further. Free agents know when they come into this building to negotiate that they're going to get lowballed. Guess what happened? DeForest Buckner got lowballed. George Kittle got lowballed. And guess what? This team, look, one more. Trent Williams was this close to being a Kansas City Chief. Do you know why he's not? Do you know why he's not? Because Kyle Shanahan walked into that office and said, if you don't bring Trent Williams back, we have a big problem. And he overruled that. Parag Marathe has been here for 22 years, literally lowballing every single free agent that's come here, signing people to a one-year deal, another year deal, and saying, you know what, you get your money your first year, we can cut you the second year, move the next year. That is the problem. When DeForest Buckner said, I wanted to meet in the middle, and they didn't want to meet in the middle, that's not John Lynch's fault. You know why? The general manager doesn't have the power that Parag Marathe has because he's been here since 2001. And it's his fault that DeForest Buckner's not here. It's his fault that DeForest Buckner's not here right now. It's not Jimmy Ward and George Kittle and Eric Armstead. It's none of their faults. It is Parag Marathe's fault. And now you guys that have said, hey, he's this wizard, this cap wizard. Guess what? 30 teams have Parag Marathe. 30 teams. Because you need a guy who understands the cap. Just the fact that the 49ers had it first doesn't mean that they got the best. I'm tired of it. I am tired of it. You have allowed all this stuff to happen, and then you allow players to get thrown under the bus because you didn't want to spend $5 million more or $5 million less than the guy who wanted it. It is Parag Marathe's fault that DeForest Buckner is not here. And if you're going to get mad at anybody, not John Lynch, not Kyle Shanahan, not Jed York, Parag Marathe, I am looking at you for the reason that DeForest Buckner is not on this roster anymore and you didn't find a make it work. Guess what? If you praise Parag Marathe, if you praise him, then you need to know the name of the guy who does the Rams books, the Chiefs books, and every other team that finds a way to get all of their guys under a... The Chiefs had $50 of monopoly money in salary cap money, and they were about to sign Trent Williams, the highest paid left tackle. Make it make sense in my head. Please make it make sense in my head. That's it. I'm done with this. I am done with you praising a guy that does the job of 30 other teams. The same guy is on every single team. There's a Parag Marathe for the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, the New York Jets, every single team. Stop blaming John Lynch. Stop blaming Kyle Shanahan. Stop blaming Jed York. Blame the guy that they put in power, the guy who's allowed to make all these deals, the guy who says, when I sign you, you get all your money up front, but every year is a year-to-year deal. Every free agent that comes into that building knows for a fact what's going to happen when they get to that negotiating table. They lowball DeForest Buckner. They lowball George Kittle. They are allowing this roster to run it back because of Parag Marathe. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
He got it out. And I unfortunately gave him the name Spicy Aponte. I rescind that comment. I see the comments having it. So obviously you touch on the comments that DeForest Buckner made this week. For those of you who have missed it, he pretty much said he was cool to meet in the middle. The Niners didn't seem to want to meet him there, and he wouldn't go any lower because he was already lowering himself enough. And Jason makes a good point. I mean, we talk about this salary cap issue, and a lot of teams seem to find ways around it. And
Jimmy Ward, hold on, real quick, Andrew. Jimmy Ward, I don't know how the Rams do it. I don't know how the Eagles do it. I don't know how they do it. That's the point. Yeah. How do they do it? I understand that they lose players, but the Rams keep winning. The Chiefs were about to sign Trent Williams, if not for Kyle Shanahan. How? They had $50, $50 in salary cap money. How? And that's my point. And you don't think that the reputation is out there about how you're going to be negotiated with and how they're going to lowball you? And hey, let's save $5 million here. You know what else too? Fans are always going to show up.
No.
You know what are they labeled as fan base? The faithful.
Faithful to the Bay.
The faithful are going to show up every single game, no matter what you put out there. The 49ers print money. Andrew, does that sound like a team that I also root for?
Another team with a salary cap?
Another team with a self-imposed salary cap in a league that has no salary cap?
Yankees catching strays.
The New York Yankees catching strays. The New York Yankees catching strays because you print money, bro. I know what I spent for those tickets to the games that I've been to, and I'm not even sitting close. I can't imagine what those season ticket holders spend on a PSL and those extra tickets. You are going to have those seats filled if you put out an AAF team. The 49ers are always going to fill that stadium. So why would they change what they're doing? Parag Marathe has to go. It's done. I'm done with it. And we're not firing John Lynch. We're not firing Kyle Shanahan. We are firing Parag Marathe. Get him out of here. Done. I'm done. I'm hot.
There we go.
We're good.
I'm not even attempting to match your energy right now. That's how
tired
fired
of it.
it is.
I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of
of
John Lynch being the scapegoat. Look, listen. You want to make your assumptions on whatever the draft pick. That's fine. But when it comes to who gets money and how they get paid, that has nothing to do with John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan. No. Parag Marathe, I'm looking at you. You need to go, and you need to find someone else who can run the cap. The Chiefs have a guy who literally knows how to get things done. The Rams have won every single year and made the playoffs somehow. Yeah. They literally dumped Jared Goff's contract and took on Matt Stafford. They're going to be in the NFC Championship game. God. You let DeForest Buckner walk. You could have kept him.
There we go. I was waiting for it. There it was. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the emphasis point there. And yeah, that's what this game is it's the DeForest Buckner game for this reason. And we're here. It is what it is now. So it's
yes, they would have, Luke. They would have. You know why? Other teams do it. How in the world does the Kansas City Chiefs pay for Patrick Mahomes $50 million? Travis Kelce, all this money, all these other guys. Tyreek Hill is about to get paid. Somehow, all those guys are going to be on the team. The cap isn't real. It's not real. It's the only team that is real to is your beloved San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. I will segue now. We're good. I will segue to predictions. Let's get a little positive.
No. We got more to talk about.
We good. We got more. We got what else? What else we got? What else we got? I must have lost the note.
We got more to talk about.
We got more to talk about.
John Lynch's interview.
John Lynch. I did not watch as much of this as you did, so I will leave it to you. I saw the bullet points of it. Where you want to start with it?
No, I feel bad a little bit, for John Lynch, right? Like I said, you want to take him to task for your draft picks. That's fine. You can do that, right? Like things haven't worked out necessarily well, right? Especially when you're looking at last year. Okay, you're talking about Banks, Sermon, Trey Lance. All these guys seem to be more, like redshirted almost, right? And that doesn't jive well, right? Like a second round pick needs to be able to step in right away. A third round pick that you traded up for should be playing, right? Your first round pick that you sent 3 first round picks for, whatever the plan is for that, that's fine. You could think, but it felt like when I watched that interview that John Lynch felt like a guy who is feeling it. He's feeling it. He feels the pressure. He feels like he's going to be the guy that if this season goes left is going to be the fall guy. And I feel bad, right? Because, like I said, you want to blame him for, the draft picks. That's fine. Go for it. Solomon Thomas didn't work out. Javon Kinlaw, unfortunately, right now is like, not, it is looking like he's might not play long, this year, all those things. But this interview felt like something that they kind of set up where they were trying to calm everything down. and then things just kind of you could tell John Lynch was uncomfortable. Matt Mayoko, say what you want about him. A lot of people, say he's the what's the word? I guess the voice box of the team.
Yes.
But yeah,
That one didn't feel like it as much.
it didn't feel like it. Like Mayoko did everything, with that he asked all those questions, and it's just like, it just felt like John Lynch is being set up to be the fall guy. And listen, if you want to get rid of him for certain reasons, the draft picks, that's fine, but it's not all of his fault. And look, I've already told you who needs to go, obviously, but it's not all of his fault. And I felt like a guy who really feels the pressure. He's sensing it, and he knows that vibe in the building. I'll tell you who's not on the hot seat, not going anywhere. Kyle Shanahan's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. So don't even bring that up. You can have your concerns. He's not going anywhere. He's Denise York's pick. That's it. Denise York trumps Jed York.
And there's a lot of other reasons. I mean, the contract he just signed, they're not going to pay him 4 years. I mean, they're not going to. They're not. This hot seat narrative, it shouldn't exist. We could have questions about him, like that's the thing, like, and that's what Jason.
That's wrong.
Hey, we good.
Wrong.
We good. We good. We'll let them have that. If this isn't on Shanahan, this isn't. It's unfortunately the way this works, because there's a lot of questions, and there's always going to have to be somebody who takes the false. I mean, and as Niner fans, we're familiar with it, right? We're familiar with, a head coach in the past being the fall guy. We've had GMs be the guy who takes the brunt of it, and it's something we're used to. It's unfortunate that I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it because it sounds real bad, but going to the Super Bowl in 2019, like, obviously a very good thing, not complaining about it. It's what makes this hurt more. Does that make sense? Is we knew what the potential of what this team was, and they did what they could to keep it rolling. And obviously last year there was the injuries and all that fun stuff, and it's just that once you get to that mountaintop, the fall is that much harder. And the Niners, unfortunately, haven't been able to reach that point since that Super Bowl loss. So it's hard. It's tough. And Lynch and Shanahan and York and Parag and all them, they've been put in a tough situation because of decisions in other places, things like that. And so it is what it is at this point, right? It's tough. And win on Sunday goes a long way. You go 3-3, you start rolling, you see where it goes from there. And I really don't have a point at the end of this. It's been a tough week as a Niner fan. As I said, I took the week off last week, and I roll into this. I roll into DeForest Buckner talking and John Lynch talking, And obviously, like, we haven't even talked about the quarterback situation.
Nope. We haven't even talked about that. Eventful week in 49ers land for a week that should have been calm. Yeah. And I think that a lot of things have been brought to the light.
Yes. And I think that's the best way to put it, because this as I said, like, I treat the Niners bye weeks as my bye week from just football and just not really paying attention to it. And for this, like this has been I've been doing it for a few years, and this has been by far the most I've had to catch up on because of everything that's happened. And maybe the reason for that is it was the Colts. Maybe if this is the Titans game, right? Let's say they go into the bye week and the Titans are coming to town. Maybe this all doesn't happen. And maybe if it wasn't the Colts, because the Colts have that one player that, if you want to pinpoint where things seem to start going downhill, is when he got traded. And so obviously it puts a more, it puts a bigger microscope to this. And it's 2 weeks of it. So
one more thing, Andrew, too. And having said all of those things about DeForest Buckner and the fact that, I blame Parag for the reason that he's not here. Mm-hmm. At the same time, in terms of positional value and how this game is played, if you're getting the number 13 pick for a defensive tackle, you take that trade 100 out of 100 times. Now, your issue with that should less be about what the pick was, but who the pick was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where your anger should be more towards, right?
Yeah.
If you get the 13th pick for a defensive tackle, positional value tells you you do that every single time, but you have to make that pick worth it, and you have to make that pick you can't replace DeForest Buckner. It's
No.
impossible, but you have to make that pick count, and you have
Mhm.
to make it. So your anger with that 13th pick shouldn't be with Javon Kinlaw
No.
because he didn't pick himself there,
No.
but the decision makers who decided to identify and say we are going to replace DeForest Buckner with the same player in terms of position, but it's not paying off.
Mhm.
That should be where your anger is.
And that's not even a knock at Kinlaw. Injuries happen. Like when he's been on the field, he's been
Right.
very good. But like,
Look,
if yeah, exactly. I was literally going to make the
if
point.
if you trade and you get Tristan Wirfs, no one's
Or
complaining
CD,
about
yeah,
DeForest Buckner.
I was going to go the CD Lamb route. If they go CD Lamb, because receiver was a position. I remember they were obviously they trade up to get Brandon Ayuk, right? So they were looking at a receiver. If they go CD Lamb at that pick, nobody cares. And as I said, that's not a knock on Kinlaw. You know, whatever,
No.
injuries happen, they exist, and that's part of the reason why whenever I talk about like Jimmy Garoppolo's struggles, right? I don't talk about his contract because it's not his fault. The Niners put that contract in front of him. People talk about the contract like it's the player's fault.
Mhm.
The
No.
the team put the contract in front of him.
Yeah.
What do you want him to do? Say, no, I don't think I'm worth $140 million. I think I'm worth more like 95. They're not going to do that. So it's tough. But then at the same time, you get a situation where you get a player like DeForest Buckner who said, hey, I'll meet you at a price lower than what I feel like I deserve. And the Niners say, no, we're going to go another route. And as we said, like, we're not mad at trading for the 13th pick in the draft. That's a very good pick. Like, to me, that's a very good trade. Not a lot of teams, like, you think of any other top tier player in the NFL who's been traded recently,
You're not going to
have,
get the
have
13th pick for him.
exactly. So I don't know, like obviously not equivalent, but like Odell Beckham, right? Like the
You're not
Giants
getting
and
that for him.
yeah, the Giants didn't get a first round pick for him. There's not too many trades where a first round pick is exchanged for a player. So like I don't blame, especially if they decided they weren't bringing him back. You got to maximize the value. And
Absolutely.
obviously, you could talk about the decision to not bring him back. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, yeah, this feels like it all gets brought up because of who they're playing this week, and then it's coming off of a bye week where we're looking for anything to talk about. Or not we as in the podcast. I'm talking we as in 49ers
Yes.
Twitter, 49er fans. Is we go the bye week, our favorite team doesn't play. Nothing to really talk about because nothing's really coming out. And then boom, all of a sudden when things start coming back out, it's DeForest Buckner said this. It's John Lynch said that. It's Kyle Shanahan said that. It's Trey Lance, it's whatever it is. And now it turns into this big narrative and it just kind of keeps rolling. And
Yeah.
so I didn't expect fired up Jason today.
Well, it's less about, again, look, I know that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are under the microscope right now, but I think that we need to shine a light on the bigger issue with this team, and it's not just this year. You have continued to lowball players. George Kittle, you came to the table and you came incorrect.
Yeah.
And George Kittle was upset about that. And you had to like almost like go crazy to make sure you brought him back because this fan base wouldn't let that go. You almost let Trent Williams walk to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kyle Shanahan walked into the office and said, if you don't give him this money, it's going to be a big problem. Those are issues. Why does a guy who is just good with the cap have more power than your general manager and your head coach that is in charge of personnel?
Yes.
That is my gripe. That is the problem I have. And if you don't believe me, count the years that Parag Marate's been here and count the winning seasons. That's all I have to say.
There it is. So obviously we teased about the quarterback thing. We're about 40 minutes here. Jimmy Garoppolo's starting Sunday against the Colts. Not too big of a surprise because A, we've known Trey Lance has been hurt for about a week and a half, and B, Kyle Shanahan hasn't seemed to fully commit to Trey Lance, and it always, especially with what he said the past couple of weeks, it always felt like it was going back to Garoppolo the second he got healthy. I don't know how much it changes. I think Garoppolo has played better than people have said. Obviously I'm a little higher on players than other people are. Trey Lance showed us a little bit of things last or 2 weeks ago. The question was how Shanahan kind of ran him. So I don't think it changes much in terms of a prediction for this game, to me at least.
Yeah, and here's the problem. I've been on board saying that I wanted Trey Lance to start. I don't know what's going on with the injury. I can speculate and say that I don't believe there's a real injury, anything like that. Whatever. Who knows? What's really going on. But I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo right now in this game is in a no-win situation. It's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be raining. It's going to be raining. It's going to be raining. So it's not like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come to form in passing the ball, right? Nothing that you really want to see. And if he wins the game, then everybody will just say, oh, he got by because of the defense, in that a la that Washington 9-6 game because it
Yeah.
was raining. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo's in a no-win spot here. I will say this. The one thing that I think is in his favor is, and even though it's going to be raining, is that if Trey Lance is out in this game, there aren't going to be chants from the crowd of "we want Sudfeld." So that is something that is like in his favor right now. So at the same time, I am going to put my trust in this coaching staff having a bye week. I'm going to put my faith in this roster, even without Trent Williams and Javon Kinlaw on that. And I'm going to predict the 49ers win in this game. It's going to be ugly. It is going to be ugly. But Jimmy Garoppolo will be able to at least quiet the concerns for a little while. But at the same time, it won't be able to quiet enough of it because he's not going to come out here and throw for 275, 3 tutties. That's not how this game is going to work because it's going to be raining, right? So it won't quiet the you need to start Trey Lance stuff, but it will be a win in my opinion, right now, and the fact that Trey Lance isn't there, he doesn't have to look over his shoulder with Kyle Shanahan bringing Nate Sudfeld in a goal line to go situation because that's just, Nate Sudfeld has wheels, but it's not Trey Lance, like he does. California native.
Need to bring back CJ Beathard for that option.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you let your best mobile quarterback go, but that's I'll blame. You know what? I blame Parag for that too. No,
exactly.
I'm just kidding. No,
I was gonna make the same joke.
Yeah, but yes, at the same time, if it doesn't rain, Dallas is asking if it doesn't rain, then Jimmy Garoppolo has no excuses or anything like that in terms of throwing the ball. But it looks like it's going to rain, 90-95% chance. Those aren't not great odds, Bob. So look, at the same time, with all those things said, I still think the 49ers should win this game. If this coaching staff and this roster is what I believe it to be, what many believe it to be, then they should win this game somehow. And I just think that a win would calm me and everybody else down a little bit, at the same time. Yes. Yeah. So I really believe that that's what's going to happen. It just won't be a pretty win. It's going to be the ugliest of wins. All right. I think. It's
been a month since the Niners last win.
A month.
The last one was September 19th against the Eagles. I'm going to go Niners.
The Yankees won a game in between that.
Yeah, the Giants had won a few too.
We're all Braves fans over here, though.
We're all Braves. I'm going to go Niners 15-9, random score for a wet game. Jason, random fact about a thing you just said. Did you know the 90 to 95% is actually not the percent chance it rains? It's how much it'll rain in Santa Clara. So 95% rain that means 95% of Santa Clara is getting rain. It's not a percent chance. It's how much of the area. Yes, I learned that recently too.
Wow.
This is a big meteorology podcast in case y'all were wondering.
For Paul to ask real quick, this is a baseball thing. Why Braves?
We don't like the Dodgers.
All right, and I'm
just going to be very blunt about it.
Well, I'm going to be a de facto Giants fan. And listen, I don't care who comes out of the National League. I cannot watch the Houston Astros or Boston Red Sox win the World Series.
Yeah, and he's the Yankees
fan. That's why. Yes, that's why. And Big Dez, thank you for the donation. This is a game that if we still had Bourne, he would be very valuable.
I miss Kendrick Bourne.
In that rain game, yes, I absolutely do too. In that rain game, he actually made some plays. Richie James made some plays in that game too. I mean, not that I remember because I didn't go to my seat because it was torrential downpour, but I remember watching it from a screen inside that stadium. But yes, yes, I agree. This is where we're kind of gonna miss Kendrick Bourne a little bit. I would love to have a reliable. Yeah, I would love to have a reliable, target, right now, and it just doesn't feel like with George Kittle out, with whatever Brandon Ayuk is going through right now, it just doesn't feel like, aside from Deebo Samuel, that we have that. And I would love to have Kendrick Bourne in this game.
There it is. So we got a little bit of Yankees talk in. We got a little bit of Giants talk in. Really, we're just hitting all the checkpoints this episode. We talked weather. Jason got fired up. Check that
I
off
yelled
the
for a
list.
little bit.
The Sharks are undefeated. They're still
There you go.
winning. What other Bay Area sports can we talk about? The Warriors. Steph did basketball things.
Steph better.
Steph better. Steph is better. Steph better. I don't know. You got anything else? You got any last second thoughts?
No. Look. I promise you that I'm gonna be done with the yelling stuff. Like, it's just the Parag Marate thing. I'm tired of a guy being praised for being what 30 other teams have.
Yeah.
And he's not some sort of wizard that does things that other teams can't. And like I said, if you praise Parag Marate, then praise whoever the guy is that you don't know his name that does the Rams books, that does the Chiefs books, because that is far more impressive than lowballing your big players and bringing people in for contracts. Luke, thank you for the donation. I don't have Twitter, so people making noise, fire Parag. I'm with it. It's time to make a move. There's gonna be heads are gonna roll, right? Heads are gonna roll. If the season doesn't go right, I just that the right heads need to roll. You need to start. The 49ers print money. Trust me, man. I'm telling you, when I bought my ticket for the home opener, I could not believe what I had to pay to sit up as high as I did with one sourdough Brad. Shout out to Brad Graham, the SF Niners, by the way. That team makes money hand over fist with all of the gear that I have in my closet, and many people do. This team is not poverty stricken. This isn't the Kansas City Royals of the NFL. I promise you.
Beautiful. Yeah, no. Hey, you know what the best way to prevent heads rolling is just win.
Just win the game.
Take care of business against teams you need to take care of business against.
Win the game, and we'll pull up next week, and it's going to be a fun episode.
It'll be happy. It'll be happy yelling.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be happy yelling. We'll be yelling about Jimmy Garoppolo going 21 of 24, 320 yards in the rain and wind. It makes me, nothing makes me think of rain and wind than Santa Clara, California, to be honest.
And this is a great point by Red Eye before we go. Niners make $345 million per season from ticket sales and merchandising. Even if that is a little bit off, it is still a ton of money.
That's about how much I make a paycheck, so whatever. Beautiful. Hey, Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. And that's really it.
Baseball's and Braves.
Over. Baseball's over.
And Braves.
Thank you, Luke.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.